All right, so in this video, I'm going to talk about how I went from 3 retainer clients paying my company monthly to do video production services to now over a dozen over the period of only 12 months. Now we are so integrated into these a dozen or so companies that they are relying on us to drive ROI every single month to their businesses, to their website, to their service pages, and we're helping them blow up their businesses, and in turn, they're helping ours. What's up? My name is Jason, owner of JLS Video Agency based here in Santa Monica, California, and I have a team of about 8 or so full-time editors, strategists, content creators, as well as some videographer contractors, boots on the ground here in LA, creating content for our about dozen or so clients every single month. So we are on payroll with them. They send us the same amount every single month. We deliver the same amount of videos for them, and it's basically on repeat. A lot of work goes into this, and in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly how I grew that from 3 to a dozen in the period of only a year. Over a year ago, it was me and a full-time editor, and we were delivering videos for a few of our clients every single month. We had about 3 retainer clients, and they had us on retainer, paying us monthly to create content, mainly in the podcast and social media space. Now, the thing that took me to the next level, I would say, is after about 6 months of staying with the same amount of clients, we noticed that we started getting really good results for those clients. Now, how did we do that? Well, obviously, it's not rocket science. If you just dedicate yourself to getting better and improving every single day on what you can do, you can get better results for your clients. And that's what we did. I probably worked 2 to 3 times harder than I would say a regular, more established video production company would have worked to create and produce those videos for those clients. So yes, that does mean I was working 80 to 100 hours a week. It was insane, but this is just my experience. This is my story, and I'm going to tell you how I did it. And you might want to do the same, or maybe you have a different strategy and a way to do it better. But by getting really great results for those 3 clients and making them extremely satisfied with our service by always being there, always showing up and showing them that we were doing the work. Because sometimes, don't get me wrong, the strategy doesn't work. Sometimes you try your best and it just falls flat in your head. But they knew that we were trying, and that's probably the most important part. So after about 6 months or so, I started recording case studies with those clients, doing both screen recordings of the results that we got for them, the numbers, the statistics, as well as testimonial interviews with them, talking about how happy and satisfied they were with our services. From there were 2 avenues that we started growing our business. One was they would recommend us to their friends and their clients, and that was a huge channel of getting new clients. And then 2 is I would take those case studies, I would take those testimonials, and I would send them out to people who are in my network who I thought I could potentially work with one day, and just showed them, hey, this is what we're doing for our clients. Let us know if you're ever interested. And a lot of those emails I never heard back from. But months later, some of those people eventually did reach out to me. And of course, right off the bat, when people start recommending you and you start seeing real results that you can get for your clients, it's just super easy to grow. It's not rocket science. Do great work, impress the people that you have, and you'll grow. I remember in the beginning, I was super hungry, and I would tell people on the phone, say, hey, by the way, let me know if you ever need any help with XYZ. We're doing it for XYZ person. And they'd say, oh yeah, great, we'll let you know. We already have a team. And it's like, at least I was trying. At least I was telling them that I'm available and that we're doing the thing. And I was excited, and you could tell my enthusiasm. I was just like really passionate about what I was doing. Again, I was young and hungry. Not that I'm not anymore, but a little bit less, I would say. And later on, when I sent those testimonials out and I sent those case studies out, they remembered that. And then later on, when one client, for example, that hired me, they were upset with their current video editing team. And they knew that I was really good at what I did. They knew that all the clients that hired me were happy with us. And they said, hey, Jason, we'd love to work with your agency on XYZ clients. And they reached out, and that became one of my biggest contracts to this day. A year ago, when I reached out to them to begin with, they were not interested at all. They said, we have our current company and we're satisfied with them. And I didn't push them. I'm not like this pushy sales guy, but I just said, great, like no worries. Let me know when you're interested. And every few months I would check in with them, and I would send them some case studies, send them some testimonials, and kind of just keep them updated on what we were doing. And eventually it worked out. So a little bit about the numbers. About a year ago, we were doing about, I would say, anywhere between 8 to 10K of a reoccurring revenue every single month, as well as like all the one-off random projects that made up the rest of my business. Today, I have about 45K in reoccurring monthly revenue from my clients that are paying us every single month to do these services. Of course, I have to pay all of my 8 employees on that, and I'm not going to go into the numbers today, but as you can see, it was a huge change, a huge improvement over the period of about a year. And I would say it happened really quickly. It's kind of like a snowball effect, of course, like you guys know. I'd say the first 6 months, it was all about getting really good results for those clients, trying really hard as we possibly could to impress them. And then the last 6 months, it's basically since, I would say, September of last year, that's when it really started to skyrocket. Even the last 3 months, I would say, was an even quicker increase. It's incremental, right? And it's also exponential. And so At the beginning, you're not going to see any traction, any improvement, any gains, because you're just trying to do a good job with those first few clients. But over time, it kind of grew and it grew. I guess the other thing that's important to consider is that I was charging at or below market rate about a year ago, and now I'm charging at or slightly above market rate. Like, what is market rate? I think about that in terms of like where you are based out of, like Los Angeles, like what contractors are currently paying in Los Angeles for those services. And then I just kind of tack them on top of each other. And then I make up a budget based off what the current kind of economy looks like and what those costs of goods and services should look like. So a year ago, I was charging at or slightly below that. And now I'm at or slightly above that. And so having slightly lower prices, over delivering, under promising, and consistently executing was what really allowed me to scale and grow my business. If you want to see more about how to get more clients and how to do a really good job for your clients and grow their businesses, check out other videos on my page. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more.